Morning, everybody. Welcome to the final pre-market prep session of the week. Here we are, September 13th, 2024. And not gonna lie, barely made it onto this one. So we're gonna go ahead and get rolling and truck right on through. It's been a great week. Week full of wins, a number of different tickers, right? Random tickers like Dock and Affirm, and then we've got, the big boys like NVDA and Meta and SPY. So it's been a great week. Patience paid dividends this week as we, remained patient, took our time, took quality looks Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday, had everything blow up and we were in all of it before it started moving, and that really blessed the whole week. And we had a continuation of that yesterday. And we're looking to remain patient and finish strong this Friday. And finish strong can mean a lot of different things, right? Maybe it's you remaining patient and not placing a bunch of trades. Maybe it's you managing and taking profit effectively, even though you've got a bunch of profit and you know that technically it could go higher, but you still, are responsible and take profit. Whatever that means, right? Sticking to the system, adhering to the correct mindset. That's what I mean when I say finish strong this week, not necessarily blow it out of the water with 300% trades, right? It's really just remaining steadfast, sticking to your system and executing. So that's what we're looking to do. And we're also looking to get 1% better. So whether you're watching live or you're watching this via replay, whatever you're doing, make sure you throw that one in the chat, signifying your intention to get 1% better, because that's what we're here for each and every day. And I'm going to dive in here so we can bang this out and, get to it. I need to go make myself some tea and figure it out. Top news, time to strike. The latest challenge has surfaced for American plane maker Boeing, whose biggest labor union just voted overwhelmingly to walk off the assembly line. A strike that started at midnight Pacific time will shut down production of best-selling jets, including the 737, 777, and 767. An extended stoppage would weigh on the financials of Boeing and make things even worse for the jetliner industry, which is already struggling with capacity shortages. Now, what happened? Tens of thousands of machinists, 95% to be exact, rejected a labor deal struck between union leaders and Boeing executives. The contract offered a 25% wage increase over 4 years, as well as pledges for local manufacturing, more retirement benefits, and lower healthcare costs. But employees felt that would not be enough after a decade of stagnating pay and the current cost of living. I don't blame them. Prior to the vote, Boeing maintained that it offered as much as it could have given, I think they meant to say, to its finances, with a soaring debt load that has topped 60 billion. In the first big test for Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, who took the yoke last month to steer the company towards brighter skies, the playmaker's reputation has suffered in recent years amid questions over safety and lack of accountability, not to mention killing all of the witnesses in cases against it. Two crashes in 2018 and 2019 uncovered design flaws with the MCAS system. A 737 MAX door plug blew out in mid flight in January, and more recently, Boeing's Starliner spacecraft couldn't make it back to Earth with its crew on board. A striking success, unions and walkouts have notched strong results over the past year, which we've called over 2 years ago, as new leadership and members spot the opportunity for leverage. That has led to new labor agreements for the auto industry, Hollywood, and even others across the aerospace sector, like the machinists at Spirit Aerosystems, whose ticker is SPR, which was later bought by Boeing. Will the surge in industrial action impact even more industries? I believe so, especially with the rise of AI. People got to demand their rights now, otherwise they recognize that they will not get them. Economic news here, ballooning interest. The U.S. federal government spent $380 billion more than it earned in August, according to the Treasury Department. It also spent more than $1 trillion of interest payments so far this fiscal year, for the first time ever, as the government's fiscal year-to-date budget deficit swelled up to 1.9 trillion, up 24% from the same period a year ago. The Fed's aggressive tightening cycle, which pushed rates to their highest levels in over 2 decades, has been a big driver in the increase in interest payments, but the central bank is set to start its easing cycle next week. Now, in terms of defense news, escalation risk, Vladimir Putin has announced that the West would be directly at war with Russia if Ukraine is allowed to strike Russian territory with Western made long range missiles. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has long called on NATO allies to allow Kiev to use such missiles like the ATACMS made by Lockheed Martin. Quote, if this decision is made, it will mean nothing less than the direct participation of NATO countries and the US and European countries in the war in Ukraine, Putin declared. Quote, if this is so, we will make appropriate decisions based on the threats that will be created for us. So my man really said if they use your weapons, that's basically like you fighting me and we're going to be scrapping too, which is not what you want to hear, on a gloomy Friday morning, but Putin's gonna Putin. So we'll see if they're allowed to use those weapons or not. I mean, they're using Chinese weapons, so it's like, do we declare war on China because they're using Chinese weapons? No, but that's also not, the logic that we use. But I mean, I get it. I see it. If you hand my enemy a weapon to use against me, you are my enemy. Um, I just don't know if Russia could sustain war against all of Europe. I don't see that. Global news: the labor force, despite public opposition and concerns about youth unemployment, China will gradually raise the statutory retirement age by up to 5 years for the first time since 1978. The decision, which will come into force on January 1st, 2025, takes into account increased life expectancy in China, a shrinking overall workforce, and more years of education. Notably, people aged 60 and above are expected to cross 400 million by 2035, representing 30% of China's total population, which has been declining amid lower birth rates. Yeah, that really sucks. I don't know how they're going to figure that one out because they're not having babies, right? Once you make that cultural shift, now it's unpopular to have babies, and all you're going to have is a bunch of old people and no babies. And this is something that they had to do. You can't have all these people retiring at once and nobody filling up, those spaces in the workforce. So in terms of today's markets, mostly green in Asia, Japan down 0.7%, Hong Kong up 0.8, China down 0.5, India down 0.1. London, we're up 0.3%, Paris, we're up 0.3, Frankfurt up 0.6, the Dow up 0.2, S&P up 0.2, Nasdaq up 0.1, crude up 1%, gold up 0.5%, Bitcoin up 0.7%. Consumer sentiment data, we get that at 10 a.m. That's going to be the biggest piece of data, dropping today. That's going to affect how we move. What else is happening? Our rapid fire stock news rundown will close us out here. Oracle climbs after hiking long-term targets at analyst meeting. New push towards Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac privatization. I guess they might be privatizing those, entities there. Wells Fargo ticker WFC slides after OCC issues enforcement action. Grayscale launches XRP closed-end fund, sending XRP higher. Ready for the XRP stands. Amazon boosts investment and delivery service program. American Airlines, ticker AAL, flight attendants approved new 5-year contract. Adobe plunges after earnings beat as guidance disappoints. The numbers can knock it out of the park. If they don't give good guidance, it does not matter. So don't go online researching. This is how many times they've beat on earnings. It does not matter. If you're playing earnings, it's a crapshoot. Accept it. If you would not flush it down the toilet, do not play it on earnings, and that's how you have to go about it. Because you're trying to logic your way through it. Trust me, I've been there and been there for years. You can run all the different scenarios. Doesn't matter. Crapshoot. Microsoft ropes in GE finance chief hat for COO job, and then little damage seen despite 40% of Gulf oil output shut in by Francine. I guess that's the hurricane that's going on. Prayers to anyone affected by the hurricane currently. I wasn't aware that all that was happening. I'm not gonna lie, I only take in market related news and I do not watch Fox, CNN, the rest of them. But I didn't know until yesterday. So prayers out to everybody being affected by that hurricane, protection, hedge of protection over you, your loved ones. Stay safe out there this weekend. And, this week in markets, make sure you guys stay safe as well. Manage your risks, stick to the system, execute, remain patient, and accept those dividends, right? We got paid a lot this week. Pay yourself. Don't give it back to markets. Don't give it back to market makers. Make sure that you don't ruin a great week by screwing it all up on Friday, right? That's my one huge word of advice. Whenever things are going great, you always got to make sure you don't mess them up. Whenever you're messing things up, you always have to ensure yourself that things will be going great soon enough, as long as you stick to the correct system and maintain the right mindset. So that's all from me today. And this week, we powered through, y'all. We did it. We made it. I'm proud. I'm proud. Let's finish strong this week. I'll see you guys back here on Monday for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.